You won't believe what happened. He just tossed the weapon, and it landed right on a police boat. Luckily, his reflexes were quick enough to avoid getting caught. At the office, police reviewed footage, finding the real culprit was someone else, not Neilsen. The cops were sternly interrogating the security guard, asking exactly what did you observe on the surveillance footage when the boss was murdered. The police were fully prepared and ready to apprehend the killer. Police decided to focus on catching the killer, while Neilsen thought they were after him. He saw the cops on the street and dove right into it. By nightfall, Neilsen figured the coast was clear and snuggled deeper into the trash can for a long 2 hours. He thought the cops must be too tired to play. To his surprise, the cops were singing. So he started to hum along, thinking, this is one wild party. He kept singing non-stop until he could no longer tolerate the filth and climbed out of the trash can, intending to clean his clothes properly. Coincidentally, at this very moment, an officer received an emergency call reporting the appearance of a guy covered in blood. In the classy strip club, the agents thought this awkward chap couldn't possibly be the killer because, come on, the killer wouldn't be that cool. After hearing it was a strip club, the agent decided to splurge some taxpayers' money. They quickly arrived and presumed the killer must have definitely ordered the special. To gather intel, the agent decided to book the fanciest seats in the house for a full experience at that moment. The killer, in the meantime, had stolen a vehicle and was hastily making his way to Mexico. At this very moment, he happened to catch sight of Neilsen seated on a bus and mistakenly believed he was being tailed, prompting him to floor the accelerator. He looked for a place to ditch the ride, but little did he know Neilsen couldn't see a thing. Those tinted windows were on the wrong. Just as Neilsen was about to catch some CS, the driver yelled at him. It turns out he only bought a half-fare ticket and got tossed into the wild. In the morning, starving, Neilsen found wild berries by the road and devoured them instantly. He stumbled upon some mushrooms and took a bite, only to hurl it all back up. Back at the office, the agents gathered everyone for a meeting, and to everyone's surprise, Neilsen's team had outstanding results. What a coincidence. In the woods, Neilsen stumbled across a car timed to speed off. He decided to steal it and get some well-deserved rest at the nearest motel. He shielded his eyes and asked for room. The innkeeper noticed his odd behavior and kept an eye on him. The newspaper exposed a stolen black Jeep. Neilsen's was it. The innkeeper asked if it was his. The paper's headlines left him both stunned and excited to talk about coincidence. He couldn't resist gushing about his car, expressing continuous admiration and lamenting all along the way. Once inside, the innkeeper gave Neilsen a room and promptly called the cops. After his shower, Neilsen saw the paper and thought, the media's vast. Stolen today, in news yesterday. He was so mad he started banging his head against the wall, only to realize the killer was next door. Just then, the sirens blared, and the killer spotted his abandoned car. Suddenly, it dawned on him that the police had been onto him all along. Meanwhile, Neilsen thought they were after him, so he wrapped his head up. As long as I can't see them, they can't see me, he thought, scurrying away while considering himself an innocent bystander. He accidentally pointed at the killer next to him just as he was trying to escape. What impeccable timing. Seeing he duped the police, Neilsen made a run for it, thinking they were shooting at him. He immediately started weaving away like in a movie. Spotting a rushing train, he thought timing it right could let him hop on and escape. He indeed leaped onto the train, but surprisingly, he promptly jumped right back off again. Luckily, the train conductor was switching tracks. He took the opportunity to climb on and found a stash of canned ham nearby. So, without any restraint, he indulged himself in those cans. but unfortunately ended up devouring a dozen cans of already rotten meat. He nearly burst. Meanwhile, the killer revealed himself, flipping and shooting with both guns. The killer called up Dolly, who was eager to take over the company, so he sent the killer to whack the boss. Ironically enough, the killer believed Neilsen to be some sort of super detective, constantly having him on his tail. For everyone's safety, he decided that Neilsen had to go just another cat and mouse game. How low could Neilsen's presence at work be? When he woke up in the hospital, he thought, "Can't let the cops catch me now." He stealthily swapped clothes with someone else in an attempt to evade capture. However, this did not escape the killer's sight, who chased him all the way to the hospital, ready to finish him off with a sharp knife. He thought the cops were there to get him, so he snatched a kid's paper to hide. The police mistook him for a hurt doctor. The cops dragged the killer to rescue their partner, helplessly watching Neilsen escape from their sight. The killer was certainly no hero, and indeed, when he finally took action, someone's fate was sealed in the morgue. The police attempted to console him, and shortly thereafter, Neilsen successfully hitchhiked a ride from a kind-hearted stranger on the road. Fortunately for him, he encountered a short-haired beauty. He was deeply grateful that she allowed him to join her, and also reminded her not to easily pick up strangers. You can never be too careful in such situations. At first, she thought Neilsen was a woman, and Leanne couldn't help but sigh, saying she rarely had true friends. Just as they finished talking, Leanne dozed off, revealing she had narcolepsy, and that's why no one ever played. Discovering Neilsen was hurt was the least of her worries. She was more enamored and decided to take him home. Leanne embarked on treating Neilsen. However, the condition worsened, prompting her to wonder if perhaps her treatment methods were entirely incorrect. To thank Leanne, Neilsen decided to fix her fence, and soon her dad came home to see it repaired. That night, Leanne prepared an elaborate dinner for Neilsen, but he felt sick just looking at canned goods. So he consoled himself with cookies. Leanne's dad, a local banker, faced acquisition by local farmers. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe.